I'm talking today with Raquel Hollis, who's a vet nurse at the Cox Street Veterinary Clinic in Hamilton. Hello, Raquel.
Hi, how are you going?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Well, tell us about where you went to school and how that was for you.
Rightio. So I grew up in Hayward and went to school at Hayward Consolidated School and then Hayward and District Secondary College. And I was a bit of a nerd and liked school.
Okay. And would you say that education has been pretty important in reaching your goals in life?
Yes, definitely. Choosing the right subjects and basically just enjoying school and getting the study done so you do have time for those fun times after school and socialisation.
And how did you go about deciding what sort of career you wanted? Did you have any influences there, or how did that come about?
No influences as such. I actually, funny enough, was terrified of blood and used to faint at the sight of blood. And then one day, just on the farm, we had a cow cesarean done by a vet and they needed help, so I was in there holding out the intestines out of the way, and then when I decided that's what I wanted to do.
And so you would have had to go to university to do some study, or how did that work?
I didn't actually go to university. You can do a vet nurse course through uni, but I decided to do it more practical way because I'm better at learning practically.
Yep.
So I basically got a job and did my training whilst working full-time and studying at the same time.
And what about the pressures of exams and all of that sort of thing with doing the on-the-job training? How did you cope with all of that?
There wasn't exams as such. There was just more assessments. So basically learning on the job, your questions and answers are right in front of you. The vets and the supportive team I did have around me were fantastic with helping me out with things I was a little bit nervous about or any questions I needed to ask. So they were fantastic. So yeah, not much pressure at all.
All right. Well, what about your typical day as a vet nurse? How would that sort of unfold for you, Raquel?
Oh, every day is completely different. Some days we're flat out, other days we're nice and a little bit more sedate. We are fully booked most days, so it goes from vaccinations to getting in there and getting out foreign bodies from the intestines or anything like that.
Okay, and what would you say the requirements would be for someone to become a vet?
To become a vet, generally getting all your science and maths subjects in school, whereas vet nursing was more, you do need a completion of year 10, but definitely maths and science did help me in year 11 and 12 to definitely help me out with anatomy and stuff like that of animals.
And would you ever find yourself in a position where you might not know what to do, and how would you cope with that? Yeah,
we find that definitely all the time, and generally just a supportive team around you helps you out, and then next time you do know.
And what about performing a medical procedure on an animal? Do you get nervous about that, and how do you deal with that?
Look, it is quite nerve-wracking, especially if the animal is quite sick. Luckily, we have fantastic monitoring equipment, and again, just all the staff and all our knowledge put all together makes a huge impact on the work.
And what would you say is the best thing about being a vet nurse?
The best thing, probably the result at the end of the day, what we're doing for animals and animal welfare, and hopefully making the world a better place and the animals in a better predicament. And
the hardest thing?
The hardest thing would definitely be the emotional attachment to animals that you do get, and also dealing with emotional clients and just knowing what to say at the right time, basically.
And what advice would you give to young people that might be thinking about choosing a vet nurse as a career path?
Definitely a fantastic job. Obviously, you do need to do the right subjects in school. You do need to think about it and plan ahead. But it is a fantastic job. But I would definitely do work experience at a clinic before deciding that's what your future career was going to be.
And what key messages would you give to students that are thinking of leaving school prior to completing Year 12?
Look, I guess at the end of the day, it is a personal choice, but I think you do have more options in life if you do go a bit further and do go through that bit of pressure, and you can land yourself a pretty good job.
And what about earlier on in school, say year 9 or 10, and subject choices going forward? Did you sort of have to think ahead of what you wanted to do there, or how would people choose that?
Look, depending on if you know what you want to do or you think you know what you want to do, you're basically just looking up different careers, and there are really good directories that do help you out that are supplied at careers classes at school and stuff like that, and they generally just help you out roughly on what subjects are required for different career paths.
Terrific, Raquel. Well, thanks very much for having a chat to us today, and good luck with your career.
No worries, and thank you.